A very good afternoon, everyone. Please let me know that whether I'm visible and audible to you all so that we can start our discussion. So there is a very good excitement in the students and aspirants that how will the essay paper will be, especially after the prelims debacle. Prelims 2026 was a very unique miscellaneous type of prelims examination. UPSC has changed the pattern quite a bit, and now today we are focusing that how UPSC will be changing its strategy and its pattern and its trend in the essay paper as well. So the paper will be coming in few minutes from now. So before that, let's explore the various nuances of the past trends of essay paper. Let's see which are the areas from which UPSC is asking majority of the questions. All of the students who are excited with me, one very important request and an advice which I want to give you today is that please attempt this essay paper. Everyone should attempt this essay paper because essay is something which do not require a specific knowledge, and I must request you all that you should attempt today's essay paper. From few minutes from now, hardly 5-10 minutes, we'll be having our essay paper with us. Before that, let us try to understand the trend of essay paper, how the UPSC are asking, what are the important areas, whether the tilt has shifted totally towards the case of philosophical essays in the recent times. Let us see all those things, and then we will be decoding the paper of 2026 essay, which is one of the important papers and a low hanging fruit. So if we talk about the case of if we talk about the case of past trends, so we have taken a trend from 2019 till 2025. And you can see that we have taken these many categories and sections. Earlier, if you see that UPSC was heavily tilted towards asking topics from society, from the case of history, from the case of health, education, technology. So those were the maximum majority of the themes. But if we have seen the aspects, we have seen in the recent time that ethics and philosophy section is increasing. And you can see that just 3 essays were there in 2009 from the section of ethics and philosophy, and which have increased in the recent times. There is a continuous, consistent increase in the recent times. In the last year, 2025, that was again watershed year in which UPSC has asked 7 philosophical or sort of ethical based essays. And this requires what? This requires good command on language. This requires good handwritten skills or written skills. And therefore, you should be having plethora of examples. You should be having anecdotes. You should be having arguments and counter arguments to actually put your philosophical understandings with respect to the essay topic in a very clear and understanding basis. So this was the trend. If you talk about historical essays, there were few in between 2021 and 2022, but largely it is a blank space. We will see what it can be in the case of 2026. Please, all of the students who are watching this lecture, please comment in the comment section. Mein bataiye please what can be the case, that what will be the nature of 2026 paper. Will it be on the tougher side, difficult side, slightly miscellaneous? Will the trend of philosophical essays will continue or what? Please let us know. Further, if we talk about the case of environment, economics, science-based essays, again, the number of essays that have come in the past years have been very less. Here also. Again, if you talk about polity, IR, security, hardly there can be 1 or 2 essays at times. So we also know that we have in section A, we have 4 essays and we have to attempt 1. And from section B, again from the case of 4 choices, 4 essays, we have to again attempt 1. And therefore, we can also leave some essays if we do not have the required specialization, if we do not have the required content backing for that particular essay. Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Now, further, if we talk about the case of society and social justice, again a very important thing. We study society in GS1 and we study social justice in GS2. Again, they become our bedrock content making machines for writing our essays, and there are good essays in the year of 2019, 2020, and also in 2023 there were 3 essays from the theme of social justice and society. But hardly, again when we come to 2025, there were hardly any essays. And therefore, one thing is very clear till now, till present times, that UPSC is asking more questions from the philosophical bent of mind. Philosophy is the core subject that has been the underpinning theme of what writing essays. But that does not mean that people who are having philosophy as their optional are the ones who will be what excelling in this essay. We have seen time and again that people with chemistry optional, physics optional, mathematics optional, geography optional, and other semi-scientific and scientific optionals and natural sciences also, they are also performing good in the essay paper and are scoring in the range of what 120 plus marks, 130 plus marks, etc. etc. So that does not mean if UPSC is asking what philosophical based essays or maybe society based essays, so we should have a background in that optional. Because UPSC does not want what one thing, that is you should not become very technical by taking your optional content into your essays. An essay is what? An essay is a journal platform of communication, what flow and exchange of ideas in a very coherent and a lucid manner, in a very precise manner. And therefore, if the things are tilting towards what the philosophical things, we do not what have to do that. Okay, so now we have what? We have the essay paper which is there now. Let us try to what understand the essay paper, what are the dynamics of it. So let us put the essay paper. We have now the essay paper coming with us. Let me show you the essay paper we have. Just a second. So we have the essay paper now with us. Perfect. So this is the essay paper we have. Let me also see that they have what updated it or not. Just a second. So now we have what? We have the updated sheet. Let us just check. Yes, we have the essay paper now. We have the essay paper now in the house. Let us see it. So here is the essay paper of 2026. The paper which is responsible for your what final selection and your preferred service allocation, because it is where after your optional your scoring becomes the highest. So this is UPSC essay paper 2026 and this is section A. And these are the 4 choices they have given in section A. We have to what? Select one and you will be what? Evaluated for 125 marks. So we have what? Oxymorons reflect the ironies of life. In Hindi they say विरोधाभास जीवन की विडंबनाओं को दर्शाते हैं. So there can be several cognitive dissonance in the minds of an individual. There can be an individual like you. So maybe there are what? Maybe there is Pavitran, there is Mahi, there is Ishika, who are what? Preparing for UPSC exam. There can be several oxymorons, virodhabhas, which can come in their mind. So whether I should do this, whether I should do that, whether this is just, whether this is unjust, whether this is right, whether this is wrong, whether this is true, whether this is false. So what are these? These are what? Oxymorons. And they actually what? Sometimes reflect the ironies that we exist or we face in our lives. So this is again what? A very philosophical essay. Again, you require what? Very good amount of what? Very good amount of what? Reflections, which you need to put psychologically and philosophically in such what? Essays. And what are the outcomes of the decisions that you have taken with your what? Internal communication that happens in your mind. Sometimes they can become what? Irony as well of life. Then next is what? A grateful mind is very beautiful. एक कृतज्ञ मन अति सुंदर होता है. We always say that you should have some what? You should have some level of gratitude. You should be what? Thanking God, thanking your surrounding, thanking your environment that they have given you a level of what? Privilege. That you are even preparing for this exam called as UPSC. Many people in India cannot even think of preparing for a competitive exam from the background they come. And therefore, a person who is full of gratitude, who is full of gratefulness in this life is a person of what? Contentment, satisfaction. As we say that satisfaction is what? Satisfaction is the what? State of mind. And that is what the question is. And of course, the paper which we have taken from a student has also what? I guess he has ticked this particular what question. He might have attended this question as well. So a grateful mind is a very beautiful mind. A grateful mind is a mind of enlightenment. A grateful mind is a mind of peace and tranquility. So that can be a context. So this is although a particular essay theme which is in what? Which is in your range to write at least good 12-13 pages. Further we have what? A thorn is a changed bud. What it says in Hindi, कांटा कली का बदला हुआ रूप है. Wow. Sometimes we become what? We become so soft. But at times, when there is a threat to our survival, when there is threat to our existence, we also have to change our way of looking at the things. We also have to provide defense. We also have to become shield. We also have to become, or we have to show some level of resistance in front of the external threat. And therefore, both the good and the bad, both the soft and the strong parts are the sides of the same coin. It is decoding that philosophicalness of the essay. This is the first impression we are taking here. Again, you can give several contrasts in the life, at the level of individual, at the level of society, at the level of what groups, while exploring and exemplifying this particular essay. So a thorn is a changed bud. That is a context. And the fourth is, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that gets what? Trampled. So it is what is happening. It is what is happening when two elephants, the case of US and the case of Iran, when two elephants, maybe one is greater, maybe one is lesser elephant, or maybe the other geopolitical dynamics of the case of what? The US and China, Russia axis, maybe when these two elephants will fight, who will be at the receiving end? The developing countries, the least developed countries, the poor, impoverished population of the world will be at what? Will be at the disadvantaged state. This is how you have to decode it. And this is at the international level, at the international arena, I have decoded it. But you can decode it at what? The individual level, the societal level, the group level. That is what the context is. Again, so I think that almost all are from the philosophical and psychological bent of mind, no doubt about it. Almost all the essays in the part A, and the most probable range bound on which you can have greater exemplification, greater logical arguments, greater examples, greater data, fact, figure, and some level of what exemplification that you can put is, I think, from the first impression, and also that depends upon whether you have a background in some of the aspects of the topics that you've read in some books, etc., etc. So I think that individual can go and attempt for what? The option 2, that is choice 2. A grateful mind is a very beautiful mind. You can talk about Buddha, you can talk about the transformation that come in the life of Ashoka. All of these are cliched example, but we can also give the reference of it. We can also what? Give the reference of it. We can talk about the 7 sins of Gandhi. We can talk about the case of what? The case of self-reliance, Swaraj of Gandhi. How a village can be become what? A peaceful entity in itself, a self-sufficient entity in itself. That can be a context. So second and fourth, I think that probably are the two important choices that you can take in the part 1 and you can attempt it. Please attempt this particular essay paper. It is very, very important. I hope it is very clear to you all. Because this is the actual test series given by UPSC itself. You will be what? You will be always troubled that which test series to join, what to do and what not to do. This is a free test series. Please attempt it. Start your timer and attempt all the mains paper. We will be coming up with first impression of almost all the papers we have. Perfect. So this is the context that we have. Further, if you talk about the context further, let us see the section B. So section B is here. Again, we have 4 choices. Let us see. Nature is the symbol of the spirit. Prakriti ही जीवात्मा का प्रतीक है. What is nature? A nature is individuals writ enlarged. So what we are? आपके पास रॉकस्टार के अंदर वो कहता है, ओ नेचर के रक्षक मैं भी हूं नेचर. दैट व्हाट मींस दैट individuals and humans and the soul of human is also something which vibes and vibrates and do somewhat synchronization and resonance with something called as nature. If nature is not healthy, individual will not be healthy. If individual is not healthy, the nature cannot remain healthy. That is the context. So nature is a symbol of what? The spirit. So if the soul of the individuals, of the population is to actually save the environment and its dynamics, the nature will become what? The nature will become more what? Ecologically sacred, and there will be what? More ecological conservation which can be seen, which can be seen. So again, it is on the lines of what you can put the environmental context, you can put again the religious, spiritual context here, you can put how an individual's soul transformation can be seen in the soul transformation of the environment itself. So those things you can also what? See, and these are the context. These are the context you can do. Perfect. So there is what? There is a repeated trend in what? The case of our what? Repeated trend in the case of our what? Philosophical essays, and there is what? There is perfectly no change in the pattern and the marking scheme. So pattern and marking scheme is what? Same for the essay paper, but the trend remains with the case of what? Philosophical essays that we can see. Although we will be what? Sharing the detailed answers and detailed essays of what can be potentially written on this particular what? Essays later in the evening. But now this is a first impression looks like this. Next. Choice number 6 is a well-educated mind will always have more questions than answer. Wow. In class, sometimes if a person asks more doubts, like the way I was teaching geography in the morning in the English Titan batch only, there were students who constantly asked questions, but other students judge them that why they are asking questions. Sir has already told the answer, sir has already discussed. But you always remember that a person who is asking the question is a person of courage, first of all. And second, a person who is asking question even after the teacher is telling the answer is a person who has actually what? Who is actually making the use of his mindset, his machinery to a next level. He's using his machinery of mindset to a next level, and therefore is asking question beyond what has been shown by the teacher. And therefore it is always good to ask questions, because a question based mindset is a mindset which says that you are a well educated mind will always have more questions than answers. Why to simplify reality? Why to simplify reality and give simple answers rather than have tough questions? The amount of education you possess does not reveal by the answers you give, will be revealed only by the quality and quantity of questions you can ask. That is what the development of a civilization is actually. And therefore, educated society, the informed citizenry of a democracy are all the different nuances of it. If individuals can ask good questions through their what? Through their leaders, then it will be what? Then it will be a creation of an educated society. So again, I think that the student has also taken what? Sixth question, because it is again a range bound questions. You have a stable content for this. You have enough content for this. This you can take. Again, we have choice number 7. Shelving hard decision is the least ethical course. कठोर निर्णयों को टालना सबसे कम नैतिकता वाला मार्ग है. It means when we say that your silence in democracy is also an answer. Your silence in democracy is also an answer that you are not taking a decision which ought to be taken. And therefore what happens is, if we don't take hard decisions now, we have to take even harder decisions in the future to come. We also have to take even harder decisions in the future to come. And that is the important rallying point here. And therefore, if the humanity, or let's say, if India is not taking hard decisions to transform its economy towards an AI-based economy, then share market will see that investors are going out of the Indian share market, because in India, the companies are not very well welcoming the case of what AI transformation, the structural change the AI is bringing. So if the government of the day is not taking the hard reset decision of taking what? AI integration into the economy, then it will be what? The India need to take a tougher decision, like the case of what? LPG, during the case of what? 1990s. That can be a case. It can be the context of what? Hard stop to the environmental degradation that we have. If we do not take care of environment, the environment will exist but without humans. And therefore, we have to take hard decision of conserving the environment. So multiple aspects can also be taken here. The hard decisions can be at the level of what? Individual psychology, ethicality, legality. Then we have what? Environmental context. Of course, special approach is a basic approach which everyone uses, but you can make it what? More looks psychological and what? Philosophical in your understanding. And then finally, the last essay choice that we have, a good leader is the one who follows the followers. Wow, this is the present context of what CJP has also been what enmeshed in this, I guess. उत्तम नेता वह है जो अपने अनुयायियों का अनुसरण करता है. A good leader is one who follows the followers. You should know your followers. You should know the DNA of your followers. Are your followers fooling you? If they are fooling you, you might not be a suitable fit going 5 years down the line. And if your followers are themselves what? Totally sound, totally adapted, totally educated, you can also what? Become a good leader. So there is a ratio. There is a ratio. Now you guys tell me that how was this paper? Was this paper a difficult one? Was this paper what? An easy one? Please let us know. Please let us know. And please also let us know which would have been the question choice or the essay choice you will be attempting or you would have attempted. Let me see. There might be some analysis also that we have got. Just a second. Just a second. Yes, we have got an analysis also. So the first impression is this, which shows us the case that this is the case. Now, so essay 2026 first impression summary is that subject orientation, if we see, so ethics and philosophy oriented is the case. Again, the essay paper was ethics and philosophy oriented, and therefore the most important message with all of you should be that you should start preparing essay and ethics along with society and social justice, because all this will provide that initial raw material for you to write good essays. And this is very, very important, because this is the trend which UPSC is following, because it is something of a divergence from your normal GS paper and what you do in optional. Because UPSC want to check the clarity of what thoughts you possess in your mind once you read these topics. What is the clarity of thoughts you get? Further, if we talk about one essay topic on what IR metaphorically is there. Metaphorically is there. Just we have talked about the case of what? The case of two elephants, what struggling together, and that context we have seen. So that can be what? A US-Iran context that we can see. And it has what? It has actually trampled the case of what developing countries in context of what the energy scarcity, the case of energy insecurity that those countries are facing. Very good. I am Kashish. Sir, birds reflect the role of pain in transformation of personality. Second, how strategic conscious mind asks question before implementing any plan. Bilkul, bilkul, very good, very good. Very good, Kashif. Then clarity is what? Then clarity. So in terms of understanding the topics of essay, they were not very difficult. Even if you have any difficulty, you could have what? You could have seen the Hindi translation. If you're coming from Hindi belt, you can easily decode the English of it. So the clarity was what? Easy to understand this time. The last time we have seen bulky what statements in terms of essay topics, and those bulky statements sometimes become what sort of what tongue twister, and what they actually what twist certain thought process in the mind, and therefore we cannot come into 1 and 0 of it. But this time the clarity was there. Either we know, either we don't know. There was no confusion in between. So therefore the chances of you taking an particular what essay topic and it becoming what totally haywire and it can totally go in other direction is less this time. And if you talk about difficulty level, it was moderate that we have seen, because there are hardly 2 or 3 essays which were relatively on a tougher side. Rest 1 or 2 essays in both the sections were the essays which you could have attempted easily, and therefore this should be something which you should what understand. And then essay topics following the conventional lines. Again, they are following what the conventional lines we have. Philosophical, ethical. Always try to, while now reading your ethics paper, while now taking your ethics classes from any teacher you are taking, always have a hold on those keywords: integrity, morality, happiness, professional integrity, compassion, apathy, sympathy, empathy. What is the difference between them? Try to make yourselves literally more philosophical from the bent of mind. Try to have arguments, counter arguments, and then counter arguments on things where your opinion is required. Try to have handful of what examples, anecdotes, and case studies which you can quote, some journal observations which you can put, so that examiner will feel relatable while what reading your essay, and the flow should be what? Flow should be very, very proper. Next, we have what? Majority of essay on ethics and philosophical topics that we have seen already. One essay can be based on IR asked metaphorically. Essay number 4, section A, based upon what? Current global context. When 2 elephants fight, it is the soil which what? Or it is the grass which tramples. I decoded it what? Directly with the case of what? Iran-US war context. So metaphorical context can be there. But then if you have enough exemplifications that when 2 elephants fight, there is something third party which gets what? Impacted. That is the context. So you have to what? Bring so many exemplifications. So always don't choose the essay topic in rush. Okay, that I know this on the first place. Think, take 5 to 7 minutes in just choosing the essay topic. Just take initial 5 to 7 minutes, and then take initial 20 to 25 minutes for brainstorming it. But while choosing the essay topic, you should be choosing that topic on which you have first clarity of understanding, that you know that essay either 1 or either 0, and you will be taking that essay topic which you know 110%, so that there should not be any confusion, first of all. Second important thing is that once you have chosen, let's say 2 essays with 100% clarity, now think on which essay you have what? A content depth, where you can have multiple exemplification, data, fact, figure, example, observation, anecdotes. where you can put some observations which can make examiner to feel that you have understood the essay inside out. Then further we have what? Direct and specific GS topics are what? Missing. Again, the themes like technology, the themes like education, the themes like health, those are the era, gone are the eras where you will be getting what? Those school-based, college-based essay writing or Nibandh preparation. Healthcare system is downgraded, education system is what? Disrupted, etc., etc. Gone are those days. They are not coming. So direct topics are what? Missing. And last is what? Difficulty level of topics is on moderate lines, because the length of the essay topic is not that big. If length becomes big, it becomes what? Difficult to understand at times, because then it has multiple implicit thoughts also, which needs to be what? Taken care of, Now I will be what? I will be interacting with you guys for next 5 minutes before we will be what? Wrapping it up. Please let me know what are your thoughts and where you have to what? Where you have finding a problem in understanding this paper. Please let us know. And also, if some of you who are actually preparing for UPSC 2027 exam, you can join the SRIJAN program for what? Understanding and preparing well your aspects of what? Mains. So the batch start is what? Batch is starting from 2nd of September. So we will be having what? SRIJAN Prelims plus Main 2.0 batch, which is starting, and it is for 2027 English medium. So you can what? Enroll it here. And further, these are the toppers which are associated in the past, and you can see more. Perfect. So you can what? Scan the QR code, or there is what? There is a admission form as well in the comment section, which you can go and fill. But before that, please give me some what? Please give me some good questions in the comment section of what you think of the essay paper, What was the most frightening thing? Is it in your boundaries? And also remember, the topics might look what? Easy on the prima facie level. Upper say from the helicopter level, from the prima facie level, they look what? More easy. But once you will start writing, there should not be the case that after completing and filling 2 pages, you are what? End with the content. You are now feeling blank. That should not be the case, because you have to exemplify them, expand them, elucidate them for the coming 11 to 12 pages. Remember the length we have, which needs to be put here. You will be writing about 1.5 page of what? Introduction. Then you will be having about 8 to 9 pages of what? Main body. And the last 1.5 pages of conclusion that you have to write. And you have to complete and connect your intro with your what? Conclusion. Your intro with your what? Main body. Your every paragraph of your main body should be interconnected with a flow in itself. And that should be your what? Context. That should be your context. Now we are getting more information. Of course, we'll be what? Coming up with more detailed analysis, shortly in the evening, and all the answer scripts for these essay will be shared to you. Again, there are now sources which are coming. So this quote that he is the context. So this is a quote given by what? Aristotle. A good leader is one who follows the followers. It was given by what? Aristotle. So people from what? Political science background, PSI are optional, might have what? Taken a lead here. Nature is a symbol of the spirit. You know, tribals have what? Tribals have the concept of sacred grooves. Concept they have. And therefore the context can be what? That nature is what? An exemplification of their entire soul searching. That can be a context. Perfect. So now let me see some of your what? Comments here now. Okay. So this is a quote which was largely inspired from what? The context of Aristotle works and his writings. So that can be a context. So the bottom line here is that from the section A, I think that if you are a person who is what? Average to above average type of personality and wants to what? And wants to have a stable attempt in this section A, you can go either with what? Question number 2, a grateful mind is very beautiful. You have enough exemplifications. It is talking about the feeling of contentment. It is talking about the case of what? Opposite of crisis of conscience. It is talking about peace of conscience is the greatest beauty that you can have. Yes, Ishika, you should know various examples for essay, and with the respective keywords you should know. Sir, do we need to read novels? No, no, no. Pranjal, don't read novels and books. First, try to complete your layer 1 of GS properly. And while studying your GS, try to focus on what? Indian society, social justice, governance, IR, ethics, and what? Summation of all these will make your what base content ready. Don't go for what either type of what reading a separate book altogether, because it will now derail. It will then derail your what preparation. And also focus on what? Also focus on what? One thing, that is that you should what? You should have a habit of what? Connecting the current affairs with your what? Essay themes, so that the essay will look more dynamic and more healthy, and it will not be having those cliched things ki aapne yahan par you have taken the case of what Mahatma Gandhi, Buddha, etc, etc, that we can also quote here, but then it is not only the case that we are only quoting those cliched and those classical things only. Ammu, the source of essay will be what? The classes. In the classes, various teachers also what come with their what discussions. Vikas Alawat sir come with what their essay discussion. We have already uploaded Vikas Alawat sir essay discussion on the YouTube channel. In the video section you can find it. So there is a master class of what 5 to 7 hours, so that you can refer. Plus there is what a compilation of PW OnlyIAS which you can find, and that compilation is something where there is what enough of what themes of essay have been written with good content on them, with good content on them, with good content on them. So there is no need to what go somewhere else. You can use those resources. You can prepare your GS very fine and beautifully and try to attempt essay. And also one more important thumb rule that you can use is, I told in the class, a topper's copy a day keeps you what? Keeps you mains ready. So take the already essay that the toppers have written in the various test series of different coaching institutes. Now take their essay, see the topic, see the theme, take your timer and start what? Just see the topic, theme, and start writing the essay for 1.5 hours after proper blueprinting and brainstorming. And then read the topper's essay, and then read yours, topper's essay, yours, topper's essay, yours, and then you will get to know that what is the gap, where the divergence lies, where the delta exists. And then once you get to know the gap, once you get to know the delta, you have to work on it. You have to work on it. You have to work on it. And that is something that you will be what? Doing. So further, if I talk about the topic 2 is in your range, you should have attempted this. The topic 4 is again what? Having multiple exemplifications. Everything is what? Explainable in a sense, but then getting the understanding of topic is one thing, but having the required content to fill the 10, 11, 12 pages with the right quality is another thing. So don't take and choose any essay topic in the rush. Read them carefully, read them twice, thrice, 10 times. See if you have understood it 1000%. That should be the first go test. If you have not understood it 1000%, no go test. If you have understood it 1000%, then go test. And second thing is, once you are doing with the go test that I am going with this option or this option, then you should have what? Then you should have the required content. So if you are confused between second and fourth, go with that essay topic on which you have the depth of the content, on which you have exemplifications. Perfect. So this was largely what we have to discuss in the context of what? In the context of the essay paper first impression. We have already done a detailed impression. Now you can see. Perfect. No, Kritika, this should not be a case. You should start simultaneously, because writing essays, writing language is what? Again a time taking effort, and therefore you should do it what? Simultaneously. Don't do it that after completion of entire GS I will start writing essays, because it is altogether different skill, altogether different genre, and it requires time for this skill to be built up. So don't wait. Start writing smaller essays. Start writing essays which can range from 3 to 4 pages, let's say, and inevitably you will start what? Reaching those qualified 10, 12, 13 pages. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that was the context. And in the section B, if I talk about, again, the student has also taken this essay. A well-educated mind always have what, more questions than answer. So it is again psychological, again philosophical, again can have what, again can have answers and dimensions from the education setup, from the democracy setup, from the government people setup, from the social contract theory setup, from the case of what, from the case of nature. From nature also, if you ask questions that why nature is like this, why this cloud is like this, why this resource is found in this location, we get good answers. So answers are directly proportional to the amount and the quantity and the quality of the questions that individual ask. And therefore, what Einstein was of the opinion that a person who asks a good question is a person who is more educated, who is more educated, who is more educated. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So this sixth particular essay topic that you can take, this is one. Again, 7 also is something that I think that decisions. So this again term is what, shelving. Shelving means what, that you have put a decision on shelf, put a decision on what, a particular safe storage. You are not taking that decision. So remove this word shelving. Again, after removing shelving, what, hard decisions is the least ethical what course. Again, it is an easy topic. Santosh, this is not an orientation to what discuss the case of what optional, and therefore this should not be the place where I do that. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Then last is, a good leader is one who follows the follower. So you can either what, you can either take from 6th, 7th or 8th. If you want to go with a stable bet and a stable outcome, you can go with 6th one, and you can either go with 7th one. If you have more specific content for them, you can either go with the choice of your background existing knowledge. So with this, we are what, wrapping up today's class and session. Please, if you have any doubt, please ask. If you guys have any doubt, please ask. I am looking at now the WhatsApp chat. Maybe Dharani, no issues, huh? No issues. Let's be positive while we are preparing, because if we are preparing, while we are preparing our preparation for UPSC exam or anything we want to aspire for, we have to what, we have to be very much what, secretive, as well as we have to very much in peace, because if others are trying to dilute our energy, we will not be able to achieve what is desired with us. That is something that you should understand. Please, now I am looking at the YouTube chat of everyone. Much in peace. Perfect. Amu is asking, sir, resources you said read topper copies but not take correction. Can we read it? How to read it? Please say. So Amu, what you do? First, take a topper copy of essay, which that topper he or she has written in some other coaching at. You will go on the PW OnlyIAS website also. You will find various topper copies. What you can do is you can download the copies. You see the essay topic. Try writing some of the aspects. Try brainstorming some of the things. Don't look at the essay of the topper. Just look at the topic and then start writing, brainstorming something for at least 30-40 minutes, and then read the essay initially. And slowly and eventually you will start getting improvised. You will start getting more improvised. Perfect. Kshitij, as a beginner, you should start writing smaller essays, 3 to 4 to 5 pages. Don't start with full length essays now. Srinivas is saying, sir, why only concentrating ethics and philosophical more and more? Because if they will be asking health, if they will be asking on technology, if they will be asking on education, people can learn, people can memorize, people can what, mechanically go and put that thing. They want to understand that whether are you a man of subjectivity or not. When there will be what, protest on ground, whether you will be taking a strict action or a subjective action, an objective action or a subjective action. You will see what are the vulnerable groups there. Are there women? Are there old age people? Are there what, children, students or not? All these things are what, are having somewhere or the other, their testing lies beneath what such subjective philosophical things. Abhishek is asking, sir, कब से start करूं? काल करे सो आज कर. Do it from now. Perfect. So with this, we are wrapping up today's session. I hope you like the first impression of essay. Please share it with other fellow aspirants who are preparing for 2027 exam and 2028 exam. And again, we'll be connecting soon with the first impressions of tomorrow GS paper as well. And we will be what? We will be again meeting you shortly. This was the brief discussion of essay paper. This is Pranjal signing off. Thank you and have a nice day.